Hello and welcome. This is the Sure Grip Manual. How to make and assemble the Sure Grip. Designed for the tumbler makers. Keeping your tumblers secure and level. Sure Grip, your tumblers, easily. This manual is a comprehensive guide on how to assemble the Sure Grip. It may be a slight overkill on information, however, I hope it will answer any and all of your questions. On page 2 of this manual has the order to print the 3D parts. The manual is in chronological order on how to assemble the parts. Throughout the manual, there is prepping and general information, previews of 3D parts, and recaps of assembling parts. The information on how to assemble the Sure Grip is in 3D pictures, which make it easier for you to view the parts. The actual 3D printed parts are the colors of the filament you decide to use. These are the 3D parts you will need to print in order to make the Sure Grip. Start with the arms. You will need 16 of them, the 8 wings, a cover, tower, center stop 1, center push 1, center stop 2, center push 2, slide 1, slide 2, 2 stop caps tops, and a pull cap. Print the rod holder. It was designed to help keep the rods from wobbling around when you are screwing the rods into center push 1 and center push 2. These are additional parts and items you will need to purchase in order to make the Sure Grip. You can purchase all these items at Lowe's or Home Depot. Finding the 3/16 of an inch square bar, that is over 15 inches long, is a little difficult at these stores. I did find a company that has a bar and is cheaper to purchase, per unit made. For your convenience, there are links to parts, items, and tools I used on our website. inventitforme.com. Tools I used to make the Sure Grip. A bench grinder. Bench vise. Die set. Drill press. Needle nose pliers, plier with wire cutting ability. Caulking gun. Bolt cutter. Handmade thread stripper tool, fingernail file, 1/16 of an inch drill bit, 3/32 of an inch drill bit, and sandpaper for metal. These are the different brad sizes you will need to purchase. And which ones you will need to cut, and the purpose of them. Wire brad size number 16, the length is 1 inch. You will need 2 of them, one is used for the tower, the other one is used for the pull cap. No cutting needed. Wire brad size number 18, the length is 3/4 of an inch. You will need 6 of them, all 6 is used for the stop caps. Cut half of the tips. Wire brad size number 18, the length is 5/8 of an inch. You will need 2 of them, one is used for the center stop 1, the other is used for center stop 2. No cutting needed. Wire brad size number 19, the length is 1/2 of an inch. You will need 16 of them, all 16 is used to attach one side of the arm to the wing. Cut the tips. Wire brad size number 19, the length is 1/2 of an inch. You will need 16 of them, all 16 are used to attach one side of the arm to the center pieces. No cutting needed. How to attach the arms to the wings. Using the needle nose pliers, push the number 19 brad through the hole. You should not be able to feel the head of the brad. See example 1. You also should not be able to see the tip of the brad, unless it was cut incorrectly, or it was pushed into the wing too far. See example 2. Important, make sure the arm is not attached to the wrong side of the wings. See example 3. How to apply silicone to the wings. Squeeze a good amount of the silicone on the foam plate. Rub the silicone on the top of the wing, then pat it, to add texture, let it cure for 48 hours. Prepping rods. These are the tools you will need to use. And how to cut and grind them. Cut 2 of the 1/8 rods, 7 1/4 long. Then cut 2 more 1/8 rods, 8 3/4 long. Cut them slightly longer, then grind them to get a precise measurement. Grind the ends of each rod to make a slight point, 1 to 2 full turns. This will allow the rods to fit in the 3D print easier. How to prep the rods and the tools I used. Place one of the 4 rods vertical in the vice grip. Using the die wrench, with a 1/8 die bit, in it. Twist it to make the threads. The threading should be around a 3/16 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch long. Thread both ends of the rod. Do not thread it over 1/4 of an inch. Cut the sandpaper 1 inch by 3 inches. Wrap the sandpaper around the unthread area and sand it down to get a smooth surface. Grease, grime, and burrs will bind the unit. Do not sand the thread areas. Prepping the bar. These are the tools you will need to use. And how to cut and grind them. Cut the bar slightly longer than 15 inches. Then grind both ends, if needed, to get a smooth surface and a precise measurement. Using the grinder, bevel both ends of the bar, slightly. Prepping the bar. Drilling, grinding and sanding it. Drill the holes in any order. The information about the pull end and wing end is used to explain the different ways to measure and drill the holes. The pull end is the left side of the bar. The holes are used for the tower and the pull cap. Use the 3/32 of an inch drill bit. The measurements are made from the left end of the bar to the center of the hole. First hole, measure and drill at 1/4 of an inch from the left end of the bar, in the center of the bar. Second hole, measure and drill at 1 inch from the left end of the bar, in the center of the bar. The wing end is the right side of the bar. The holes are used for wing stop 1 and wing stop 2. Use the 1/16 of an inch drill bit. The measurements are made from the right end of the bar to the center of the hole. First hole, measure and drill at 5/32 of an inch from the right end of the bar, in the center of the bar. Second hole, measure and drill at 3 inches from the right end of the bar, in the center of the bar. After you have drilled the holes, grind the burrs off the bar from the holes you just made, until the bar is smooth. Then sand the entire bar. Making the handmade thread stripper and grinding down the fingernail file. Grind down the fingernail file so it is 3/16 of an inch wide and the length is at least 2.5 inches. Thread the handmade thread stripper 3 inches long, then make a bend at 90 degrees at 4 inches, then bend it again, 90 degrees, at 6 inches. Understanding the different types of holes. There are 3 different types of holes: screw-in, pass-through and push-on holes. Screw-in holes are found only on center push 1 and center push 2. Pass-through holes are when the rods pass through that 3D part. They should pass through smoothly, if not, use the handmade thread stripper to widen the hole. Push-on holes are found only on slide 1 and slide 2. These holes were designed to have the 1/8 of an inch threaded rod to be pushed into them, not screwed in. You will need to do some prep work on the slides to have them push on easily. Prepping the slides. How to use the handmade thread stripper and purpose of the fingernail file. Twist the handmade thread stripper into the push-on hole, a half to a full turn, then pull it out. Do this technique 2 to 3 times, until it is slightly easy to pull the thread stripper out. The push-on holes is around 3/16 of an inch deep, so make sure you have stripped at least that amount. The objective is to push the 1/8 of an inch threaded rods into the slides, at least 3/16. FYI, pass-through holes are holes you can see through. Slide 2 does not have any pass-through holes. After using the thread stripper, you will need to use the fingernail file to grind down the bulge caused by the stripper. Also, remove the supports for the slides with the needle nose plier. Note: make sure the rods and the bar slides easy through the parts that have pass-through holes. This is a preview page to understand how everything will fit together. Take the time to look at this page and understand how the center pieces will attach to the bar and rods. In example 1, pay close attention to how the stop holes are on top of the bar vertically, and how the rods are horizontally on center push 1, and vertically on center push 2, on the bar. Example 3 is a finished preview of both center set 1 and center set 2. Putting together center set 1. Assembling the centerpieces together correctly is one of the most important procedures. Example 1 is a preview of how center push 1 should be placed on the bar, and the screw-in holes should be on the sides of the bar, horizontal. And how center stop 1 should be placed on the bar, and how the stop hole 1 should be on top of the bar, vertically. Example 2. Use wire brads number 19 to attach a wing, with arms on it, to center stop 1. Do this for all 4 of the wings. Use the needle nose pliers to firmly push in the brads. Example 3. Before attaching the brads, Make sure stop hole 1 is vertical on center stop 1. And the screw and holes are horizontal. On center push 1. Use wire brads number 19 to attach the remaining arms to center push 2 and the needle nose pliers to firmly push in the brads. Note, you should not be able to feel the brads, which are attached to the center pieces. Putting together center set 2. Assembling the center pieces together correctly is one of the most important procedures. Example 1 is a preview of how center push 2 should be placed on the bar, and the screw and holes should be on the top and bottom of the bar vertical, which is different than center set 1. And how center stop 2 should be placed on the bar, and how the stop hole 2 should be on top of the bar, vertically. Example 2. Use wire brads number 19 to attach a wing with arms on it to center stop 2. Do this for all 4 of the wings. Use the needle nose pliers to firmly push in the brads. Example 3. Before attaching the brads, make sure stop hole 2 is vertical on center stop 2. And the screw and holes are also vertical on center push 2. Remember, this is different than center set 1. Use wire brads number 19 to attach the remaining arms to center push 2 and the needle nose pliers to firmly push in the brads. Note, you should not be able to feel the brads, which are attached to the center pieces. Also wrap both center sets with a rubber band, separately, to keep the wings closed. Finishing the center sets is one of the most difficult processes in making the sure grip. When you are finished, check this page to make sure they are done correctly. Also, remember to wrap the sets with a heavy rubber band. Attaching the rods to the center sets. Hand screw the rods into the center set. Slide the center set into the rod holder in order to keep the rods from wobbling around. You may need to add sheets of paper to raise the rod holder level to the center set rods. Use the plier to completely screw in the rods, about 3/16 of an inch. Use the plier close to the center set. Sand the rods where you use the pliers to tighten it, to make sure the pliers did not create a burr. Do not over-tighten. Important note, make sure the rods are even in height, and if you must grind them down, use the rod holder to keep them from shaking too much. Attaching the center sets to the bar. First, slide center set 2 into the bar. Push a brad into stop hole 2 and slide the unit up and down until you fill the hole. Use the needle nose pliers to push the brad all the way in with the pliers. Repeat this technique for center set 1. Note, it is okay if the brad head is showing a little. Attaching the cover. This is an easy step, yet somewhat difficult too. The first rod you will be sliding the cover through is the 7 1/4 of an inch rods, which are the blue rods, for these instructions, which are attached to unit set 2. Note. Make sure you refer to the picture, horizontal versus vertical, for the correct position of the rods to the cover. Horizontal. I have not paid attention to the position of the rods several times, only to find out, when I was attaching the tower I had it wrong. You will need to move the rods, slightly, around to get the cover through the rods. How to attach the cover. Slide the cover through the bar and rods. Make sure it is horizontal, not vertical. Put the glue on the end of center set 2, on the knob. Against the wall, not close to the rods. Warning. Too much glue may push the glue onto the rods and the wings. Assembling stop caps and attaching them to the slides. First, push the stop cap onto the slide. Make sure the holes line up. Then push the brads through the holes, making sure they are flat, and you cannot feel them. Use the tip of the needle nose plier to push the brads in. If you need to, file the brad heads to make it flat. I have only needed to do this once. The purpose of having the brads flat is to have a solid surface for the stop cap tops to adhere to the stop caps. If brads are not flat, the glue is only on the brad and it will not hold. Attaching the slides. This is a time-sensitive process, because of how quick the glue cures. Slide 1. Put a small drop of glue in the push-on holes, just a drop. While you are holding center set 1, push the slide down onto the rods, as soon as possible. Check to see if any of the glue is seeped out and is on the rods. If there is glue on the rods, wipe it off as soon as possible. Also, remove the rubber bands, so you can push the slide down, about 2 inches, and wipe the backside too. Keep moving the slide up and down gently and wipe the glue off them, until they move easily and the glue is rubbed or wiped off. Let it sit for 5 minutes and move it up and down again. Slide 2, repeat the same technique as in slide 1, except you will need to hold center set 2. Important note, if the slide gets stuck, squeeze the wings together to move up, while, gently, pulling the slide. How to attach the tower and the pull cap. Attaching the tower. Pull the stop caps up, which is the unlock position on the slides. Make sure the line of holes and the stop hole on the tower is on the top of the bar. Slide the tower through the slide 2 and slide 1. Push a brad halfway through the tower and the bar hole, to make sure the holes are aligned. Remove it, to add glue, then, quickly, place it back in the holes. Squeeze it together with the needle nose plier until the brad is flush with the tower shell. But this is not required. Attaching the pull cap. Push the pull cap on the bar until it is tight against the tower, then push the brad through the pull cap hole. This brad needs to be flush. If the pull cap is not tight against the tower, you will need to measure the bar's hole distance and drill a 3/32 of an inch hole in the pull cap. How to drill a hole in the pull cap. Turn the pull cap a 1/4 of a turn, then drill the hole. The printed hole should be horizontal. Congratulations! You have made your first Sure Grip. The Sure Grip is made to have a 3/4 inch PVC slip attached to it. Now let's top it off with the PVC fitting. Choose your fittings type. 3/4 slip to 3/4 inch male threaded. 3/4 slip to 3/4 inch female threaded. 3/4 slip to 1/2 inch male threaded. After you have chosen your fitting, glue them together with a PVC glue. Place glue on the inside of slip, on the PVC fitting. Then slide it into the pull cap end. I hope you enjoy your new Sure Grip. Thank you. This is Kent Farley, the inventor of the Sure Grip.